Hi, good evening. This is Gail Sylvia, and I'm so excited to be here in Amsterdam with a very new host on Sylvia Global. Her name is Tuaca
I'm
Kelly.
delighted to see you. And insofar as divine connection, I want to make a distinction that, I feel that we are all divinely connected, and developing consciousness and recognizing the consciousness to develop is another part to really benefit from the connection that always is.
Well, define that a little bit more. Just consciousness. What exactly? It's a term that's floated around and used quite a bit, and I think that there's a tendency to sometimes misunderstand or to associate that terminology with just one type of spiritual practice. Can you elaborate some more for us?
Sure, absolutely. I'll begin with sharing what I call my conscious moment of consciousness. And I was literally 4 years old. You know this story.
Wonderful story.
Yeah, and I was tuning into the experiences I was having in my body and feeling about the experiences I was having around my body. In both cases, it's energetic and energy, and everything is energy, and all energy is information, and information is consciousness. And I know some of these terms can seem vague, but through experience, it helps to land. Not too different from the experience of love, and kind of how to discern that and how to distinguish love. But through just the process of paying attention to what I was experiencing in my body, the thoughts I was experiencing, being aware of my thoughts, or being aware of other messages, or even interest in what I was thinking about, or question what I was thinking about, or question what I was feeling or experiencing. So I've always had a passion for understanding and a passion for wanting to understand the things that I was experiencing and how other people made decisions in their life, or the actions that other people did. So one of kind of the primal motivators for that was wanting to understand, and also wanting to be in service, and finding a balance and finding healthy boundaries on how to do both of those things.
At what point, though, did that start to become more important to you? Because you had this initial awareness as far back as you can remember, at 4 years old, but then being more conscientious.
Yeah. It was important to me. It was important to me then. And, I recall my early childhood heroes being Jesus and Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I also like Bruce Lee and Elvis Presley quite a bit too.
Mm-hmm.
But these, some of the qualities are what they represented, and what I felt about them. They came to Earth in both of their ways, and provided service.
Just so you
help.
know, my early experience in one of the heroes was Mighty Mouse. and I haven't thought about this in a long time, but now that you've shared yours, I'm thinking, I immediately remember, in addition to Jesus, another one of mine was, Mighty Mouse, and what he represented, what he symbolized, and in that small body, the amount of power and influence for good that
Mm-hmm.
Mighty Mouse represented.
There you have it.
Not not to take it too deep here.
There you have it. But you know what? Actually, you touch upon it, and we do so in joy. But joy is also in the intimate depths of the sacred,
Wow.
and service is also a place to experience joy. But when you're talking about Mighty Mouse, or I'm talking about Superman, even though there's characters and they both wear capes, and some of them present as a cartoon, or some of them are
Yeah.
live action, it's what they represent, and their symbolism, as well as their archetype. So what they symbolize is service, is duty, is honor, is integrity. And both of them are challenged with, even though Superman is, not of Earth, he still faces some of the consequences of humanity, and he has great empathy with humanity. And the mythology of Mighty Mouse is as well. He's facing life day after day as well, even though he has these superpowers. So we're not separate from that. But I feel that there's a great empathy and a sense of duty, a calling to utilize what we have, develop our skills, and make a conscious choice every day. Meaning that I'm tuning into my own will. I'm tuning into my soul, my purpose here on the planet, to be in service. And one of those ways I am in service is assisting other people in realizing their potential. So,
Is that the is that then the premise behind soul priorities? To
so
expand
right,
the reach? Mhm.
yeah, exactly. To be a forum, to be a hangout on your network, so we can engage in what that is. And regardless of economics or religious identity, or any of these kind of stations in life, one of the core questions is, what am I doing here? How do I make a difference? How do I inform my own experience in this realm, as well as multidimensional realms, that I'm doing out what I set to do, what I intended when I showed up on the planet. So
Was
so
there a
priorities is the place for that.
was there a life experience that made this become a priority for you?
Every day. I I mean, I've had a variety of experiences that would make your head spin, would absolutely make your head spin.
Share
Um,
one.
that are surreal. I mean, um, some people are moved into their calling from a near-death experience, or a dream, or the loss of a loved one. And my early experiences was listening to God, was listening to my guides, was listening to my own morality, and challenging my own boundaries. And having experiences in life, or making decisions that I felt good about, or some I didn't feel good about. So in many ways, I was my own teacher, and I had a projection of who I wanted to become. And I would have experiences of having meetings with my adult self as a child.
Mm.
And my adult self would come to me in dreams, in meditation, and as well as angels. And I would see me as an adult. I would see the woman I would become. And wow, wow, that's pretty cool. And in all the times that I've experienced loneliness, or hunger, or isolation, or cold, or vastly misunderstood, or underappreciated, um, there there's a core strength of me that has I won't give up on it. No matter what happens, I won't give up. And in those times of pain and suffering and illness and homelessness. I mean, there's many things I've experienced in my life. Knowing at a core level who I am and what I'm here to do and what I'm capable of, as well as visions of things to come and messages I received from God and my guides, was also don't give up. And I was told in youth, one day that they will see, one day they will understand, meaning people in my community, people in my family, people I get to share this planet with. And it was really a practice of hang in there. So I'm also a testament, speaking from experience, when I tell people not to give up.
Who first saw it in you?
My grandfather, the day I was born, and he held me, he said, "This child will turn out in spite of everything."
Mm. In spite of everything.
In spite of everything.
Did he know something or see something or suspect something that others around you, including your birth mother, may not have been aware of?
Yeah.
To add that phrase, in spite of everything.
Yeah, in spite of everything, it is telling. That sentence speaks for itself. Like, it's really a standalone. My grandfather was a bright man. So was my grandmother, and they're crossed over there in spirit, and they knew what they knew. And they had their relationship with God, and they had their relationship with their soul knowing and their intuition. And, there was something in his soul that recognized, something in mine. And, from his knowing and also from his lips to God's ears. And I was born into a family with tremendous core strength and also tremendous challenges. And those challenges are some of the things that taught me who I wanted to be and taught me who I did not want to be. Mm. And I learned I was an only child in pretty much a culture of adults in the 1970s in San Francisco, and there was many things happening in those cultures.
A lot was happening. Yeah. In the world at that time, and San Francisco was the epicenter of it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and one thing I could say, and if you were to also speak to some of the friendships I still maintain. They'll all tell you, Tuaca doesn't judge anybody. Mm. And that's always been true. And so that I could be in the midst of these experiences, some were glorious, some were excruciating, but in all of that, I learned from it. I learned what felt good, what didn't, and I didn't judge any of it. But rather, in some of those situations, I survived it. I got through it. Mm. But what I really did was seek to understand what was going on on the level of the personality with these individuals in my life, what informed their personality, what was going on the mental, psychic, etheric field, what was going on energetically with them, how were they connected to their knowing or their soul, how they pulled away from their body, how they were influenced in negative ways or inspired in positive ways. So much of my training came through wanting to serve and wanting to understand what was happening, and what was happening in the understream, as I like to call it, what's not being said, but what's the truth that's palatable, what's sensible, that may not being addressed in the conversation, but it's happening in the understream. And so this training, that's hardcore training, but it helped.
I, I can't hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you
Okay.
now. She was on mute. I can
Okay.
talk to us about what you want to accomplish and what viewers can anticipate and how they can participate with soul priorities.
Great. One of the intentions with creating soul priorities and bringing it here is so people could have a home to come to.
Hmm.
Now, we have service here at my temple in Amsterdam, and people are welcome to participate. That this is another way of extending the service, if you will, so people could come here and be a part of a conscious congregation and ask questions, listen, feel along, and receive homework for them to take along and grow with. So it's really to keep a conscious conversation growing.
And how can our listeners and viewers find you, in addition to sylviaglobal.com, share with them your website and how they can connect with you directly?
Lovethemessenger.com is a place to find me in addition to your network website. Check out the agenda page to stay abreast of the different activities that are here, including soul priorities. And sessions are available by visiting the contact page. I also make some regular posts on the Facebook and be joining you here each week for a while on soul priorities.
Look forward to having you on Tuesday evenings, 10:30 in the evening Amsterdam time, and archived here and streamed live also from sylviaglobal.com. Tuaca Kelly, thank you so much for being with us and for joining us, and we're excited to see you next week.
I'll see you next week.
Take care. Good night.
You too. Good night.